Hey guys, Mike the Gaming Dad here and welcome back to the channel. Bringing you another build guide this week, and this is one I've seen requested a few times now. This is going to be an illusion assassin. May I present to you the Dark Elf, Harry Houdini.
Another refugee?
Starting out, as always, who do we side with? Maybe when pigs fly we'll go with Hadvar. Pick up the axe and light armour and take a few practice swings on our friend Ralof. Once you have downed the two soldiers, pick up the key before Ralof can get his hands on it. I'd also pick up the Imperial light armour set as well off this soldier. It's better than the Stormcloak armour. Now time for some early levelling on Ralof. We're going to spend a little bit of time here guys. It's up to you how far you want to take this, but I'm going to go all the way up to level 70 here. Now that is done, make your way through the gate and the rest of the dungeon. When you get to the torture room, raid the guards of their armour for selling later on. Also collect the steel dagger from the torturer. We'll use this soon to do some more levelling. Also unlock the cage in this room with the dead mage inside. There's lots of goodies in here which we can sell for gold later on. I'm now at the point in the cave just before the bear, so at this point I'm going to level up. I'll split the points evenly between Magicka and Health for now. We have 10 perk points, but the only perk point I'm going to spend now is in the base of the sneak skill tree. Now it's time to crouch behind Ralof and swing away with the steel knife. Sneak levels really quickly here, but just make sure you don't push Ralof too far forward. It won't take too long now before your sneak skill is at level 100. Now time to put your points in. I'm going to keep the split fairly even still, but eventually we will want to get to around 300 Magicka, and then everything after that point can just go into health. In terms of our perk points, we still only have the 1 point in the base of stealth, but we've filled up the rest of the skill tree now, so that's 9 points in here in total. We have 2 points into the base of the light armour skill tree. 6 points are in one-handed, 4 of these are in the base of the tree, and 1 in dual fury, although soon we'll be getting the second of the points here when we have more to spend. I've also got dual Savagery for additional dual wielding damage. And then our final 3 perk points are in the illusion tree. These are in the base, dual casting and Animage for now, although they aren't important at this stage. Eventually we'll be filling this entire tree up. Now an illusion assassin is actually a really easy build to set up. It doesn't require crazy gear or crazy stats. All you need to do is focus on a few skills and play a specific way. We're going to need a fair amount of gold though, so now we are out of the cave, we're going to follow my usual path which will eventually take us to Riverwood and Whiterun. Our first destination is this little bandit camp here, which is a few items including a light armour skill book and a chest to unlock which should have some gold inside. Once the chest has been picked, you'll be attacked by 3 bandits. Dispose of these and then loot their corpses. Grab anything of value, we'll sell this later on. The Imperial boat actually has a pretty good value to weight ratio, so we'll take this as well. And all this stuff here is good to sell, just not the basic weapons and iron items. Once you've grabbed everything here, we're going to head north up the hill. Once you reach the tree, turn west and head over these rocks, and this will drop you down onto the Talos shrine with the dead worshippers and the Thalmor agent. Loot the agent for his robes and the random enchanted item he'll be carrying. I'm going to grab this gold as well. Every coin counts at this stage guys. You shouldn't need to, but if you've picked up any ailments, touch the shrine to clear them and then we'll head to our next location. This is northeast down the road to another bandit camp just here. And this one contains 3 bandits. Quickly dispose of these and then loot their corpses. The main item of interest here is treasure map 1, but grab anything else worth selling. There's also a pair of robes in here worth collecting. And then in the tent opposite is a one-handed skill book. I've leveled up again now, so I'm going to get the second of the Dual Fury perks now. When you reach the standing stones, take the Mage stone. This is going to assist us in levelling illusion later on. And now go for a swim in the lake. Be careful jumping in though, don't nearly kill yourself like me. Once over the other side, head up to Anice's cabin. When you reach the cabin, swing 180 and then head over the rock face in front of you. Down below you'll find a skeleton and inside will be the flawless emerald. It's time for another swim now. Jump in and then head back up the other side now to Embershard Mine. And this bandit is no match for our new Dual Fury speed. Inside the mine there are two main points of interest. The first is this gated room here. Kill the guard and he'll be carrying the key to unlock it amongst a few other random items. And inside there is an illusion spell on the table. Although this isn't one that I'm going to be using, I'll sell this one. Over here in the room is a chest to pick as well. Oh man, Meridia's beacon already. Wow, this flawed Viola stone is worth a lot of gold, that's nice. Okay Meridia, let's hear what you have to say.
A new hand touches the beacon.
The other point of interest in here is at the end of the mine. In this little side room here will be a table with a few gems and gold on. There's also another chest in here with more gold in. When you exit the mine, you should see Riverwood to the northeast, but first we're going to head straight north though. Over the other side of the river will be a tree. Inside this tree is a treasure map 1 chest. Loot this for yet more items, and now it's time to head over to Riverwood. Not content in our quest for items to sell, take advantage of Gerda's good charity and take anything of value she has to offer. She is offering up a ring which is incredibly kind of her. We need a woodcutter's axe and the one I usually get isn't in Riverwood, so I'm going to pay Faendal a visit. Don't mind me, Faendal. Oh look, a woodcutter's axe. It'd be a shame if somebody stole it. You probably weigh that much now with all your loot, that it will be quicker to roll down to Whiterun. We aren't going to head into Whiterun just yet though. First, let's take a carriage ride over to Riften. Once in Riften, head north past the guard towers and then east up this hill here. At the top will be a shrine of Zenithar. Pray at the shrine to pick the perk up. There'll be a few other items here to pick up, plus an amulet of Zenithar as well. Once you have all of that, head back to Riften. I think we'll pay old Grelod a visit at the orphanage.
And one more thing.
Be quiet, you old hag.
It's Grillin. Someone has killed Grillin.
Before the guards start to ask questions, take the carriage back to Whiterun. Find the beggar or one of the street urchins and give them a gold piece, and this will activate the Gift of Charity perk. You should now have 10% better prices from the amulet, 10% better prices from the blessing, plus increased speechcraft from the Gift of Charity. Now time to sell your wares amongst the merchants of Whiterun. Adrian, you can have all the armour, weapons and smithing materials. Belethor can take all the gems and skill books. Arcadia the ingredients and ale. When you get up to Farengar in Dragon's Reach, pick up the illusion spell Muffled and then sell him the mage gear, spell books and soul gems. At this point we already have almost 3,000 gold, which is good. We can make a little more in Whiterun though before we set off. Go back down to the marketplace and speak to Carlotta. Offer to take care of the bard who has been bothering her, and you'll find Mikhail in the local inn. Now because we have the Gift of Charity still, you'll be able to persuade Mikhail to leave her alone and avoid any confrontation. Now go back to Carlotta and she'll give you a levelled amount of gold. I got 500 off her. I mean 500 gold, Carlotta. What other side gigs do you have other than selling vegetables? I hope it's not OnlyFans. Anyway, time to go chop some wood.
If it's work you need, how about chopping up some wood for the fires?
Wood for the fires, eh? It's funny you should say that, Holder. Here's some I prepared earlier. Selling this to her will give us a free bed which we will use later. Before that though, we also want to ask her about any leads for work. This dialogue will give you a random quest, but it refreshes each time. Bounties, rumours and so on. You may need to do this a few times, but eventually she should give you a note entitled Missing Merchant. Read this to start the quest of the same name. Now it's time to go sleep. Do this for a few hours first to get the well rested perk, and then equip the Muffled spell. What you want to do now is cast a spell until your magicka is gone, and then sleep for 1 hour, and just repeat this process. When you level up and get another perk point, you can put this into Apprentice Illusion if you wish. This will halve the cost of the spell, so make leveling quicker. And now just keep going. You can go all the way to 100 if you wish, but 65 is the minimum and I'll stop here for now. We can do the rest as we wander around Skyrim later on. Time to go talk to our favourite Uber driver again, Bjorlum. And this time ask him to take you to Windhelm. Just east of Windhelm is where the first steps in the Missing Merchant quest takes place, up at Traitor's Post. Take care of Erwin and the bandits that will be residing in here. Ha, Erwin and the bandits sounds like a band name. Once you have sorted everything in here, check the body of Gunther sat in the chair by the fireplace. On him will be the Ring of Massa, which reduces illusion spell cost by 30% and increases sneaking by 20% and stamina by 20 points. We aren't going to be using enchanting or alchemy in this build, so this is an excellent base game ring for this type of build. At this point I would recommend heading down to the Windhelm docks. There is an Argonian here who trains light armour. We do need light armour levels, and it's not a skill we will level that much naturally in this build, as it's not a build where we want to be soaking up hits. If you are, you're doing it wrong. So my recommendation is to use gold to buy light armour points when you can. It'll help massively in those situations where you do end up taking a hit. Now enter Windhelm and hear the rumour about Aventis Aretino and the Black Sacrament. And now it's time to break into his house. Give him the good news that Grelod the Kind is no more.
That's the best news I've ever gotten. I mean, I knew the Dark Brotherhood was good, just not that good. You killed the old hag before I even asked.
Our final task in Windhelm before moving on is to sell all our wares to replenish our gold reserves. From Windhelm we're going to walk up to Winterhold. There is a location en route called Journeyman's Nook. Inside will be a solitary bandit that has killed a wizard who was residing here. Take them down and then you can raid this location. There's usually quite a lot to pick up here, but the main item we want is Borvia's dagger. It's a basic elven dagger, but as we haven't found anything as good as this yet, we will use this until we get something better later on. You may get a letter from the Dark Brotherhood soon. I received it just as I got to Winterhold. It's important we don't sleep yet, otherwise we will wake up somewhere else very far away, and we don't want that just yet. There is stuff for us to do in Winterhold and Dawnstar first. Our first task is to go and join the College of Winterhold. I was really hoping it was going to be an illusion spell she wanted to see. I mean, do I look like a destruction mage to you? Once inside, pay the illusion master Drevis a visit and pick up a few spells. The first one we want is Pacify. Now these are expensive, so sell him anything you don't need to top up your gold. I have some mage gear and a gold necklace he will take. And now also buy the invisibility spell and Fenric's Welcome. This is all we need to do in Winterhold, so time to walk the treacherous path to Dawnstar. We may as well pass the time and do some illusion levelling with Muffled, but watch out for the bears and wolves though on this pass. When you get to Dawnstar, find Silas outside of his museum of the Mythic Dawn. He'll have an interesting job proposition for you. He wants you to collect the 3 pieces of Mehrunes' razor. The closest piece to Dawnstar is actually in Morthal, so now is the time that you want to sleep. It's time to go on a little trip. Hang on, this isn't where we fell asleep. And who the heck are you?
Sleep well.
After listening to Astrid's little speech, equip the Pacify spell in one hand and your best dagger in the other. Attack Astrid. Now she's far too powerful for us at this point to take down in hand-to-hand combat, so once she gets down off her little bookcase, pacify her, and then crouch behind her and backstab.
I knew I heard
Repeat this step 2 or 3 times and you'll have taken down the leader of the Dark Brotherhood. Congratulations. You are a mean one, Harry Houdini. Astrid will carry the Blade of Woe, a unique dagger which absorbs health. You can use this if you wish, but just remember due to a low enchanting skill currently, it'll drain quickly, so you will need a lot of soul gems. You can also take her Shrouded Armour set which we will equip. I think it's finally time to drop our Imperial getup. Astrid's kidnap has saved you half a trip to Morthal, which is handy, so equip Muffled and complete the rest of the journey, levelling as you go. When you get to Morthal, find Jorgen. You can either persuade him to give you the key, pay him for it, or kill him and loot it. The choice is up to you. But once you have the key, you can collect the first piece of the razor, which is the hilt. At this point I fast travel back to Whiterun Stables, and we're now going to get a ride to Markarth. If you're quick the first time you enter Markarth, you can stop a young woman being murdered in the marketplace. This isn't essential, but she will give you a necklace for saving her, which is worth a handy amount of gold. There isn't anything else to do in Markarth, but near here you will find Hag Rock Redoubt, and it's here that the second part of Mehrunes' razor can be found. It's actually at the top of Dead Crone Rock, but you need to go through here to access it. Climb to the top and fight the Hargraven at the summit, and once killed, the pommel of Mehrunes' razor can be found on her corpse. More taxi rides now, this time take one to Falkreath. Once here, head to Cracked Tusk Keep. It's not too far, just head directly west, here on the map. It's quite funny at this stage how easy it is to stay hidden, even without using much illusion magic. That's 1 dead. And that's 2 dead. I mean, look at this. Gunzel can't see us and we're right here. Once he's dealt with, pick up the vault key, and now we can head downstairs and pick up the third and final piece of Mehrunes' razor, the shards. Go back to Dawnstar now and give all 3 pieces to Silas. You'll receive a handsome amount of gold for them, but the main prize is still to come.
Kill him. Take your rightful place as my champion, or I will crush you.
Being crushed by Dagon doesn't sound too pleasant, to be honest, so best do as he says. And he will now reward you with his razor, probably my favourite base game dagger to use for any assassin build.
Before you go mortal, one final challenge.
Before you leave Radi's temple though, there is tons to pick up in here, including a load of smithing materials like gold and ebony ingots, which we can sell. Now we have the razor, head back to Dragon's Reach and read the Ethereum Wars, which is in Farangar's study, and this will direct us to the ruins of Arkenthams. We may as well use this journey time to continue levelling Illusion up. Once inside the ruins, find the body of Katria to begin the quest, Lost to the Ages. This is a long quest, but one of my favourites, whereby we will need to find 4 separate pieces of Ethereum. The first is located at the summit here.
So, it is real.
The second piece can be found at Deep Folk Crossing in the northern parts of the Reach.
Beat me to it this time.
From here, head east to another dwarven ruin, Raldbathar. This is where the third piece can be found.
I have to say, I'm glad that's over.
Our final location is here, Mzulft. We don't need to head inside the main dungeon though. Instead, there is a small storage room located a little way down the hill. Unpick the gate in here to get the fourth and final piece. With all 4 pieces, it's time to head to the ruins of Bethalt. Use all 4 pieces to unlock a previously hidden Dwemer location, the Ethereum Forge.
Look at the device here. The gear in the center is just about the right size. Try putting the shards in and we'll see what happens.
In here you'll have to battle the Forge Master, who can be quite nasty, so be careful.
I almost can't believe it. We did it. We actually did it.
Once vanquished, raid the chest for the crafting materials, and then we can use the Ethereum Forge ourselves. You only get to pick one item, a crown, shield or staff, and all 3 do different things. The one we want is the Ethereal Crown, which allows the wearer to have 2 standing stone abilities. It's up to you which standing stones you pick. Now a good choice for illusion assassins is the Shadow Stone, which is located just south of Riften. What this does is once a day allow you to be invisible for 60 seconds, but I do think for this build there is a better option. I'm going to choose the Serpent Stone, which is east of the College of Winterhold. What this does is allow you to paralyse someone from afar, which is a great assassin ability to have. Here you can see the Shadow Stone, but the reason I don't think this one is needed is due to us having the invisibility spell, which doesn't have a 24-hour cooldown. If you don't want to use the invisibility spell, then I would recommend keeping this stone, but you don't need both. Instead, the second stone I'm going to use is the Lord Stone. The reason for this is more of an insurance policy than anything else. The aim of this build is to not be seen, and therefore not take damage, but it's inevitable to happen at some point. A dragon shout, a stray arrow, you walk on a rune. What you don't want is to be one-shotted due to having a relatively low health and armour pool, and this standing stone will help negate that. At this point I'd leveled illusion up to 100, so pay Drevis a visit and start the Master Illusion spell quest by asking him what else is there to be learned. He will start you on a short quest whereby you need to use a new spell to help find 4 hidden books around the college. One is in the Hall of Attainment under a bench on the 2nd floor. One can be found in the Hall of Countenance on a barrel on the 2nd floor. The third is in the library on this table to the left. And the final one can be found here inside the midden. With all 4 books in your possession, go and give them to Drevis, and in exchange he will give you the Hysteria spell. Also buy from him the Harmony spell and the Mayhem spell. The final step before this build is ready is to contract Sanguinaire Vampiris and let this develop into vampirism. Vampires have a few perks which really lend themselves to this type of build, and the first is the Night Stalker's Footsteps, which makes you 25% harder to detect while sneaking. The second is Champion of the Night, which makes all illusion spells 25% more powerful. With all these in your possession, you'll now be the deadliest illusion assassin in the game, capable of taking down enemies in single strikes before they notice you're even there. Fenric's Welcome I really like using with this build. What it does is turn you invisible and lets you unlock any expert or lower level lock instantly. It's a real nice tool for role playing. You can use it to sneak amongst your prey's houses, taking them out silently as they sleep. The Illusion Assassin playstyle though is all about toying with your prey. You've reached such a level at this point that killing them would be too easy. It's a game to you. You approach them from above, turning yourself invisible. Your knowledge of illusion magic is so strong that you can infect the minds of entire groups of people, causing them to flee in panic, or worse, frenzy them, causing friends to turn on one another as you stand in the shadows, watching your sport. Only when the last person is standing do you then drop down and strike. You don't even need to use the master level spells if you wish. The expert spells which are single target are equally as effective. They just require a little more precision and skill. Why not try infecting the minds of only one enemy and seeing what chaos unfolds? As a master of invisibility, they won't find you. Now calm your enemy as you wait for the moment to strike. Use your paralysis to lay them down and then put them to sleep before you slip away into the darkness once more. I'll just quickly show everything we have so far, starting out with the weapons. It's up to you what you use. You can use illusion magic and then flip into dual wielding a sword and dagger, or use illusion in one hand and then a dagger in the other. It really doesn't matter. As I mentioned earlier, the choice of 2 standing stones is up to you. The only one I highly recommend for role playing is the Serpent Stone. And my amulet I am using, which I've not shown yet, is the Necklace of Peerless Health. I'll show my perks shortly, but this one gives us some much needed health for those times you will inevitably take damage. The rest of our gear we ran through earlier. Other than the hood, we are still using Astrid's old gear. And then in terms of spells, these are all the ones I have favourited. It's up to you how you choose to utilise them. If you don't want to be a vampire, that's also fine. Just remember that you'll lose the sneaking and illusion bonus. The illusion bonus just means you can pretty much use illusion on any enemy in the game, even enemies like dragon priests, and it'll work. Not being a vampire, you'll still be able to successfully use illusion on 95% of the NPCs in the game, just not the very powerful ones. And then finally our skill trees. I said at the start of this video this is an incredibly easy playstyle, and it is. So our perk tree has illusion now fully complete, and this should be 13 perks I think. And then we have nothing levelled at all until enchanting. And this is only passive levelling by the way. When I was playing around with the Blade of Woe, we have no perks here. Smithing is 1 level up when we made the Ethereal Crown. Then it's nothing in any of the combat skill trees until we get to one-handed, which is now level 83. We still have the same 7 perks in here as before. That is 4 in the base, 2 in Dual Fury, and 1 in Dual Savagery. Nothing in Archery, and Light Armour is now at level 59, and we've got 3 perks in the base here. Sneak hasn't changed since before, we still only have the 1 perk in the base. Lockpicking and Speech are passively levelling as we play, and nothing is in Pickpocket or Alchemy. And that's it guys. Not many skills needed to play this way at all. Have you ever given an illusion assassin a try? Who will you prey on if so? I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I am Mike the Gaming Dad, and I will see you next time.